Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you, Dr. Chen.
Okay. Hi, this is Michelle Chen, and today it is my great honor to be here and talk about one of my current research projects, and that is information visualization skills for academic librarians, a content analysis of publications and online resources in the digital humanities. I know it sounds like a mouthful, but that's the title. So this slide outlines our agenda today. I'll first give an overview of what the current status is, specifically in the intersection of digital humanities and information visualization. I will then share with you some important literature in this field. The main focus of this presentation will be on the data for analysis, including the journals and online academic resources, the methodology that was used, and the content analysis results. And finally, I will conclude the presentation with discussions on insights and some practical implications. So we all know that in recent years, data has become more voluminous, versatile, accessible, and digitized. And in the digital humanities community, new technologies have also emerged with the goal of providing advanced analytical capabilities to support content analysis, knowledge discovery, or even decision-making. So here are some of the interesting examples of digital humanities research work that can give you a sense of how they span across different data types and application purposes. For instance, you can see on the top left is the work done by Ferguson in visualizing Walt Disney's animation to understand its contrast of frames and the sequence of plots. And the top middle graph shows the work by Murrieta Flores et al. That implemented GIS technology for cultural historical research, which contributes to the understanding of geographical experiences and spatial relationships represented in works of literature. The bottom left figure shows another interesting work that was done by Suarez et al., and part of their work was to use data mining and visualization to offer multiple views of the space of Hispanic Baroque art as related to geography and movement through territories. And one more example from the top right figure shows the work from Bradley et al., in which visualization was used to explore language structures, or according to the authors, the DNA of languages. So you can see there is a wide range of application data types and also the techniques in digital humanities. So from these examples, we can find, again, a wide range of technologies being applied, such as image analysis, machine learning and data mining, information visualization, or even GIS. So in this research, I will focus mainly on information visualization. So information visualization is the technique of creating 2- or 3-dimensional representations of data that enable new discoveries of insights and knowledge. So its unique pattern and outlier detection capabilities render it an important tool for disciplines ranging from computer science to the humanities. And the digital humanities communities has also increasingly witnessed its prevalence in both the literature and in practice, and we'll talk about both sides today. So we've seen from the earlier examples that by employing various visualization techniques, information professionals can analyze metadata, tags, text, images, and any type of digital information through visual means to gain a better understanding of how humanities material has been created to present, communicate, or even deliver messages. So in light of the growing significance and complexity of information visualization, it is now considered one of the core skills for librarians in many organizations. However, while information visualization has been widely adopted and discussed in library research and education, there is a dearth of research pertaining to the intersection of information visualization and digital humanities. In particular, relatively less is known about how librarians, especially academic librarians who often provide support for digital humanities research, should prepare themselves for this emerging technology. So here comes the overarching question. How have scholars in the digital humanities field been employing information visualizations to support their research? And what does that mean to librarians, or specifically to academic librarians? So to advance the understanding of academic librarians' roles in digital humanities research, the study seeks to provide insights into 3 research questions. So first, what are the primary tools, application types, and purposes of information visualization in digital humanities research? And second, what types of online resources are provided by academic libraries that open the application of information visualization in digital humanities research? And finally, is there a gap between the practical use of information visualization in digital humanities research and the support and services provided by academic librarians? And if so, how can academic librarians best prepare for that? So before we talk about the actual data and the methodology, I would like to just kind of quickly go through the literature. So the literature that is relevant to the topic here can be viewed from 2 perspectives. One is to look at information visualization used in the digital humanities, and the other is about information visualization discussed in the ALIS community. And from there, we try to identify, again, the intersection, the overlapping area of these 2 parts. As we have already seen earlier, just in the previous couple of slides, the digital humanities field has widely embraced the concepts of information visualization. And here are just another few examples, and they are pretty much like a representative examples of how information visualization has been employed. So Hoyt et al. Used an algorithm to analyze screenplays, and there are also work that has been done to examine Islamic religious symbols and representations that comprise today's visual culture, and also they did it on the internet to see how it was reflected on the internet. And there are also visualization applications that have enabled more complex research into the history landscape. And all those are very important for us to identify what information visualization applications and purpose mean, and I will talk about it shortly. And Ferlini et al. Argued for an exploratory approach to literary history that incorporates information visualization into the research process through its entirety, including the early stages. And in recent years, we have seen that digital humanities research has also moved from physical artifacts, so from books, from physical artifacts to materials to web-based items. So one example is the work by Lynch that can be used to identify which resources and domain experts are needed in order to complete a digital humanities project in a cyber infrastructure space. So people are really looking at content or humanities work that was on the cyber infrastructure space. On the other hand, as information visualization becomes more widely adopted in the digital humanities, it has become increasingly important for the allies community to reflect on whether librarians are well prepared, trained, and skillful enough in the use of visualization techniques. And that is the question that I've always encountered when I went to conferences, especially the California Library Instruction Conference that we talked about a lot, the kind of emerging tools and technology. And I know that kind of aligns with our school's career pathways and some of the focus areas to talk about, so what are these tools and how do you be prepared for all those tools? And information visualization is definitely one of them. So here I give you some examples of some literature that has about the information visualization discussed in the allies community pertaining to information literacy. So for example, Womack argued that information visualization should be considered a core skill and one of the focus areas to be incorporated into information literacy by librarians and educators. And there is another a similar vein and that a similar line of research and that talks about this idea. So Roth proposed that visualization techniques used specifically, they use the museum studies for their example, could be applied to the teaching of information literacy. And there's also a recent really kind of a representative publication by Magnuson, who provided a comprehensive and practical guide on the skills and tools needed for librarians to create a meaningful visual storytelling experience. But again, although research on information visualization in the digital humanities and library training has been abundant, there has been little discussion pertaining to the intersection of all these fields. And the goal of the study is to hopefully fill in the research gap by examining the role of information visualization in both digital humanities research and in the skill set of academic librarians. So to determine the information visualization skills that are in demand for academic librarians in support of digital humanities research, I start with the content analysis of 5 years of recognized journals in the digital humanities field. So identifying and selecting representative journals was no easy task, and our goal here was to identify journals that were well recognized in the digital humanities field, were peer-reviewed, reach a wide audience, and were fully accessible through the SJSU King Library subscriptions. And to aid in the decision-making process, several sources were referenced, including the resource guide provided by Digital Humanities at Berkeley, the Digital Humanities journals provided by USC Libraries Research Guides, and the Digital Humanities journals provided by UIC University Library Research and Subject Guides. So after a careful cross-comparison among all the journals listed in these 3 sources, I selected 3 journals for this study, including Digital Humanities Quarterly, Digital Scholarship in the Humanities, formerly known as Literary and Linguistic Computing, and Digital Studies. And I would just read the first part. So to determine whether an article is information visualization related, we used 2 criteria. So first, whether the article's title, abstract, or keyword mentioned information visualization, data visualization, visual analytics, or even visualizing. And we also take into account both visualization with a Z and visualization with the S. And furthermore, the research articles excluded manuscripts that were editorials, introductions such as front matters, and book reviews. So we only look at research papers. So this table provides a descriptive summary of these journals with a focus on research articles published between 2012 and 2016, so the 5-year time span, that are related to information visualization. It reveals that while each journal chosen is unique in terms of its format and type, number of issues per year, and total number of articles published each year, the percentage of information visualization related articles published was similar among all 3 at around 25%. And this is considered a fairly substantial percentage. I was kind of surprised too when I saw the results, as each journal covers a wide range of topics of interest in digital humanities research, from purely qualitative to purely quantitative studies. It is also worth noting that although digital studies published a much smaller number of articles each year when compared to digital humanities quarterly and digital scholarship in the humanities, it still contained a comparable number of information visualization related articles over the 5-year study period. So the other main part of the data in this study falls within the online resources provided by academic libraries in the area of digital humanities research. So to provide a meaningful comparison of the 3 selected journals with a focus on information visualization related research, only university library guides that have both digital humanities and information visualization. So these 2 components have to coexist. So only all those sites were considered. So as a result, 10 university library guides were selected for analysis, and including the Digital Humanities at Cornell Research Guide, USC Libraries Research Guides, MIT Libraries Digital Humanities, University of Tennessee Knoxville Digital Humanities, U of Arizona Libraries Digital Humanities Tool, University of Toledo Libraries Digital Humanities Tools, Fordham University Libraries Guides, Kansas State University Libraries, UNC Chapel Hill, Carolina Digital Humanities Initiative, and finally, the UIUC University Library. So you can see from their titles, and all of them have the component of digital humanities and visualizations together. So after information visualization related articles were identified and retrieved for each of the 3 selected digital humanities journals, content analysis was further conducted to investigate the use of information visualization in these articles. More specifically, this study examined 3 categories of information visualization use: tools, applications, and purposes. So for academic online resources, a thorough content analysis using data mining and natural language processing techniques has been conducted. So it's a little bit different for the academic online resources because they are mainly websites. So it's not the same as the journal articles where you can have just one layer of information. For the websites, we really need to kind of go through all the click links and the clicks and all the links to go different layers and to do a little bit of mining and natural language processing. So online guides were analyzed with a technique called topic modeling, and that is to identify a common theme from each website, and also with the word cloud visualizations using a technique called TF-IDF, and that's just kind of a weighting mechanism between the frequency of the term occurring in the documents and how unique the term it is. So I would then compare tools, application types, and purposes of information visualization use in these 2 main data sets. So again, for the information visualization use, we only look at the tools, application types, and purposes, but we're comparing between the journal articles and the online academic resources. So first, let's take a look at the results for digital humanities journals. Despite the wide variation among the visualization tools that could possibly be used in digital humanities research, I found that at an aggregate level for the 3 journals, approximately 70% of the visualization tools used in digital humanities research were free and open source tools, such as Midline for the geotemporal interpretation of archival collections, and ANIS for the visualization of complex multi-layer linguistic corpora. And moreover, approximately 30% of the visualization tools used enterprise software such as Carrot to visualize and comprehend a large web collection through cluster analysis. So among the tools that were free and open source, more than half, 50% had been designed and developed by one of the authors of the article. So this basically means that the visualization tool can be highly research specific and research dependent, and also be correlated to the research questions only. So the second category of information visualization use was applications, which refers to those research themes that were applied to visualization techniques to address the research questions. Note that here the research themes are considered more in a broader fashion. For example, the document analysis application includes analysis of not only textual document, such as corpus or archives, but also screenplays, hypertext, all that was counted as documents. So similarly, the history application covers studies ranging from literary history to art history. So it's taking a very broad view of the application. So the content analysis for this category demonstrates that although a wide range of visualization tools were adopted, the application types of information visualization used were relatively limited. So take Digital Humanities Quarterly, for example. Among all of the 49 information visualization related articles, the top 3 applications include document analysis, data curation, and history. And the content analysis of digital scholarship in the humanities reveals a different result, with the top 3 applications identified as document analysis, that's the same, but linguistic analysis and geographic analysis. And this is not surprising, as digital scholarship in the humanities was formerly known as literary and linguistic computing, so it comes with a significant portion of the work focused on linguistic research. And what we found is very interesting was that Digital Studies is a journal with a relatively small number of published articles. It presents a really wide spectrum of applications for the use of the information visualization, so ranging from document analysis to music analysis and digital scholarship. And it also covers a lot of scholarship communications article too, and that use the information visualization. So the purposes category of information visualization, so that's our third category, use in digital humanities research helps us to understand why information visualization is needed. And based on the work of Agrawala, the three primary purposes of information visualization considered in the study were presenting data in context, analysis and discovery, and storytelling. So presenting data in context does not involve significant discovery of new knowledge or insights. Instead, it focuses more on the communication of existing information to others. And in contrast, the purpose of analysis and discovery is the use of visualization techniques to help discover new knowledge, insights, and even questions. And information visualization with the purpose of storytelling emphasizes the design of a graphic that connects to and resonates with the users through an overarching theme, or the so-called story. So these are the three main purposes that we look at based on the literature. And the content analysis results reveal that the purpose of analysis and discovery is most common for all three journals. So among all of the 49 information visualization related articles in Digital Humanities Quarterly, 61.2% were focused on analysis and discovery. 69.4% of the digital scholarship in humanities content was devoted to analysis and discovery. And similarly, 52.9% of digital studies content concentrated on analysis and discovery. So it is pretty much the most common purpose of using information visualization among all three journals. The results of the second most common purpose are more mixed. So for Digital Humanities Quarterly, storytelling came next, followed by presenting data in context. And for digital scholarship in humanities, the second most common purpose was presenting data in context, and with storytelling falling far behind. Digital studies presents a similar pattern. So it has 41.2% of the information visualization related articles had presenting data in context as their second most common purpose, with only one article focused on storytelling. So depending on the I would say the type, the style of the journal itself, the editors probably, so it has quite different second and then third common purposes of using information visualization. Now let's take a look at the online research guides. So the 10 online research guides provided by university libraries in support of digital humanities research were structured and presented quite differently, as you can imagine, from journals to websites, and by their nature when compared to journal publications. So as I mentioned earlier, we need to take into account the different layers of information through all that links and clicks. So we use data mining and natural language processing techniques to analyze and visualize the content provided on these web pages. And in particular, I use a technique called topic modeling, which is a very common data mining technique to identify a common theme presented on each website. So for example, for each of the website, the algorithm will learn a set of different words from each website, and recursively they'll eventually emerge to a topic for each website. And we also use a TF-IDF scoring mechanism to create word cloud visualizations, just kind of give you a snapshot of what it looks like. So to save our time here, I will not go through all the technical details, but you're more than welcome to contact me if you're interested in how these were actually conducted, especially all that algorithm and the scoring mechanism. So this slide shows a snapshot of word cloud visualization of 6 out of 10 academic online resources. I just randomly select 6, just given the space consideration. So I just present 6 here. And we can immediately see that important role that tools play in these resource guides. So literally all the websites have been talking about and also put their focus on the information visualization tools. And I will give more explanation of what it means in the next slide. So about insights. The results of the content analysis reveal a major gap between the 3 selected research journals and the 10 selected university library research guides. So while the university library research guides focus on providing a broad view of visualization use in digital humanities, such as definition, introduction, and especially the popular tools, the research demonstrates that it's actually the depth that matters more, namely how information visualization has been applied. So we're actually looking at the applications more and why it has been adopted. So we look at the purposes too. So this gap presents opportunities as well as challenges for academic librarians to conduct or support digital humanities research using information visualization. So first, the word cloud visualizations reveal that the 10 university library research guides examined all include the components that introduce visualization tools, applications, and coding and solver resources. And this focus resonates with the importance of the tools category that we identified from the 3 digital humanities journals. And several components provided by the research guide, such as there are a lot of them about definition, related books, and overview and introduction also play a vital role in enhancing academic librarians' knowledge of information visualization. However, from all the research papers and how and why they use information visualization to successfully support and effectively contribute the digital humanities, the subject specialized academic librarians' knowledge to extend beyond mere visualization concepts and tools. So the content analysis results for the journals reflect the importance of recognizing the wide variety of information visualization applications. What does that mean for academic librarians? So we have 2 important implications here. So first, the application of information visualization is strongly correlated with the humanities data under consideration, whether it be corpus, archives, music, artwork, even there are also some of the contracts, like the legal contracts. So when providing a data set for digital humanities research, a librarian should also consider whether the data can be analyzed using visualization techniques and whether the visualization results can precisely and meaningfully address that research need. And also, the content analysis results demonstrate that the purpose of most of the information visualization related work in the digital humanities is to analyze and discover. So academic librarians should also be able to envision the visualization result through a more analytical lens. So what is the most accurate way to interpret the visualization results? What can be deduced or mined from these results? And how can new discoveries and insights be drawn from the visualizations? So these are the sorts of the questions that an academic librarian would hope to answer, kind of going beyond the tools and software that people can use, but more into the actual data or even like the data literacy. So how do you actually interpret the data? How do you find the actual, the right data set for the research need? And last but not least, I would like to provide some best practices for academic librarians interested in applying information visualization to research, specifically in the digital humanities, according to the content analysis results. So we want to be familiar with the common data types in digital humanities research. I know that's a wide range, a lot of diversity, but understanding what kinds of data might work best with each visualization technique, I think, is paramount. So some of the technique does not work with some types of data. So it's kind of important for us to have that idea of what kind of data will best fit a certain technique. We want to take advantage of online courses such as MOOCs to hone the skills in using visualization apps and tools, and recognize the importance of applying analytical thinking to render the best possible interpretation of the visualization results. So again, that falls back to the very important notion of interpreting the data. And I know for some of you that are in my class currently or who have taken my class, we have put a really big focus on how to interpret and the results from your data. And it can really depend on the domain knowledge, the subject expertise, and simply your experience with that issue under investigation. And never be afraid to reach out to other human resources, with quotation marks, who are the domain experts for collaborative opportunities. In one of the online resource guides that I researched, I looked at, and I can't really remember which one it is, but it does have a list of people who are specialized in a certain domain, who are specialized in a certain technique that are provided on their website. And I found it a really good tool for people, not only the researchers, but for academic librarians to reach out for collaborative opportunities too. So that's it for my presentation. Is actually faster than I thought. Maybe I hope I did not speak too fast. So the reference list is attached, and that concludes my presentation today. And thank you very much for your time. The research is still kind of in its infancy, so there are limitations, as you can imagine. For example, for the research journals, the peer-reviewed journals, we only look at peer review, we only look at journal publications. But in information visualization and digital humanities research, there are quite some journals that are not peer-reviewed, but still have a large audience, base of readers, and also are very reputable. So, but they are not considered in my list. Also, you can make the same argument for the online resource guides that we're looking at a set of 10 resource guides, but you can always expand to like 20, 30. But now we're just kind of limiting to the web pages which have both the digital humanities and information visualization, and they have kind of an equal weights on their website. And so thank you very much for your time. And like I said, it's kind of a research in progress, so any questions and comments are greatly appreciated.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Michelle. We have quite a bit of time for questions, so if anyone wants to grab the mic. It also looks like Helen wrote one in the chat box as well.
Yes. So Helen asked about what specific MOOCs can you recommend for information visualization. I always go to Coursera, and they have quite some good MOOCs about information visualization. Some of them are not visualization just for visualization, but some of them are like, in data science, in big data, but they have a really good component for visualization because it's naturally just part of the data science field that you need to know how to visualize a large scale data set. And again, for those who are in my class, we talked about using Tableau, and on Coursera there is also a MOOC that talk about how to use Tableau for information visualization. And thanks, Megan, for the comment. So Indiana University has an InfoVis MOOC too. I would say for MOOCs, usually we would like to go with more practical use of, it's not only about theory. And so for when you do MOOCs, you want to look for something that is more practical and hands-on. So that's my feeling, that you will have more takeaways of how you can apply that to your work, to your project. But of course, in the course, we would like to know the underlying, the fundamental of the theories part. But for taking a MOOC, sometimes I think it would be nice to just look for some of the practical applications.
Okay, any other questions?
Right, thank you, Dana. So Dana has a comment, lynda.com has some information visualization courses. And yes, and they have quite some good information about information visualization. So it's not only courses, but a lot of theory and a kind of a wiki page too. So yeah, thank you. I almost forgot. Any other questions, comments?
It looks like Megan asked, you know when your research will be completed?
As soon as possible. I would say by the end of this semester. Yeah, so we have kind of the first draft out, but like I said, there are some limitations that I would like to tackle with, not only about the completeness or complexity of the data sources, but also there have been argument about some of the traditional, it's not necessarily digital humanities, but a lot of traditional humanities journals, they might have topics that touch upon information visualization or using technologies. So, but now the focus, like my focus was really on the journals, the 3 journals that you can look at. They're all about really digital humanities, and kind of excluding the traditional humanities work. So that's another limitation. So yeah, so there are still several issues that I would like to take care of, but hopefully by the end of this semester.
Are you working on this by yourself, or are you collaborating with any other professors on your research?
For this one, I'm working on the, well, it's a very good question. For the research itself, it's my work, my solo work, but I have a couple of colleagues who are digital humanities experts who are feeding me with their input and feedback. So they were mostly on the kind of acknowledgement section. Yes. Thank you, Megan and Nicole.
All right, well, if no one else has any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.